Alrighty, got the bangers here from Blood Orange. These wheels are in 65mm. They've been out for a few years, but they just released a 70mm version. Liam was kind enough to send me both sets, so yeah, I'm gonna give them a go, see how they are. They're meant to be really slidey, but still soft rolling, super durable, and yeah, I guess the 70mm version is gonna be a bit faster, roll a bit longer, last a bit longer, and yeah, excited to try them out. Ooh. Well, some very early first impressions. I did like that 3 times. They slid right away. They're smooth, fairly slidey, smooth rolling, smooth sliding, slidey slidey, slidey smooth, smooth slidey. Bangers. So the bangers are 78A. They have a 40mm contact patch. They're stone ground, so they're ready to slide right away. They're center set wheels, which is nice. And they have a reinforced core. And obviously, I already said they come in 65 and 70mm versions. These are basically, you know, right in the middle of that market of slidey and durable wheels. This is sort of the Blood Orange take on, I guess, the snakes. Because that's what everyone compares wheels to these days, is snakes. So this is like the Blood Orange version of a snake. It's very slidey, very durable, and on the cheaper side of things as well. Well, these wheels are pretty slidey for doing slides, and they roll pretty smooth for rolling, and they feel pretty good when you're sliding. Like, they kind of, like, they have some resistance, but not too much. And yeah, they feel really good. That's what I think of these wheels. Bangers. So these wheels are very slidey. They're right up there with snakes as far as like how slippery they feel and how long you can do slides for at that same kind of speed. Definitely in that same kind of category. They also have like quite a smooth slide. They have that reinforced core, which basically means that even though it's a moderately soft thing with the 78A, the solid core makes them not chatter, and so the slide becomes smooth. That's similar to snakes and other freeride wheels with large cores, so that's a nice feature. That reinforced core also gives them a fast roll speed. I found these to be like plenty fast enough. You know, as far as freeride wheels go, it's not always a big deal how fast a wheel rolls, but I found that these were quite fast rolling, and these, yeah, they would be perfectly fine to take on like more downhill kind of runs as far as rolling a long time between slides. These are going to have a nice speed for that. It was something that I actually liked. People might like it, but they might not. These had a more in the pavement feel. So even though they're very slidey and like very durable type wheels, the feeling of the slide kind of was almost scratchy. Like you can feel the resistance of the pavement. Personally, I really like that in the wheel. I tend to ride grippier, like Thaney wheels. And so these kind of give that feeling of a more in the pavement, scratchy, Thanier type wheel, which that's just kind of the objective side. Personally, I like that for the responsiveness and the feedback. I like to have a feeling of more control. And I found that balanced them out really nicely for how slidey they were. You still kind of have that feeling of the edge of where you can kind of use that to control them. Just having some resistance in the slide I find personally really nice. So that was something I noticed about these compared to other smooth slidey wheels, was that they had that more sort of resistance feel without being grippy. I've seen plenty of videos of people Thaning while riding these. I think I did a little bit, especially in the bigger session I had. It was starting to get warm here now, and the pavement we were skating was somewhat, you know, eaty, I guess you could say. So I've seen people thane on them, which is kind of impressive considering they're so durable. They still leave a little bit of thane line, so not everyone cares about that, especially these days, but I like my thane line, so I was happy to see a little bit of that. From my understanding, the 70 and the 65 mil, it's like the same mold and shape, and 40 millimeter contact patch on both. They look to be about pretty much the same, but just the 70 mil is obviously a little bit taller. Personally, I find like 40 mils, that's a good for free riding. You start getting too narrow, it can get kind of like funky feeling, a little edgy. If you get too wide for free ride, then it can be kind of too heavy of a wheel to throw around. So 70 by 40 is kind of like right where you want to be, which is really nice. The stone grind was super easy to break in. I've been finding that wheels at a stone ground are almost slidier when they're fresh, and I think it's because it's like kind of scraped, so the skin of the wheel is like grooved from the stone grinding, which means you actually have less contact with the road, which makes it slidier. So they're actually slidier out of the packet, and then they kind of break into how they're going to feel, which I think is almost nicer. Sometimes you have a fresh skin on a freeride wheel and it's kind of like, I gotta break in the skin to get to the good slide. This is almost the other way. It's like a nice easy slide that's like super slippery, and then you kind of wear into the wheel and break the lips in and get into the meat of it, and it kind of gets a little bit grippier and more controlled as you get into the wheel. So that's something I've been finding in general with stone ground wheels lately, but definitely with the bangers. The durability aspect is like epic. I've had a few solid sessions on them and noticed zero wear. So like the 70 mil wheels I have are still notably bigger than the 65s, which I haven't ridden as much. And yeah, I didn't even rotate them because they're not really wearing at all, which is pretty impressive. If that's something you're looking for in a wheel, the durability aspect is definitely way up there for performance. I haven't seen a lot of people riding the bangers in the 65 mil just in general. They've been out for a couple of years. It's not something that I've seen around. From my understanding, I think a lot of skaters see, especially these days, they see a 65 mil wheel and they're not as inclined to buy it because they want to get that bigger wheel for more life and meat. And so I think the 65s would be more popular in the freestyling kind of category. So if you haven't bought a set for that reason, now you have that 70 mil option that's right up there with the same size as all other freeride downhill type wheels. So then definitely a viable option for a freeride downhill wheel. I did actually try the 65s on my double kick. I don't really skate double kick. I went to do a few slides and I found they were actually too grippy for that. So if that kind of gives you an idea of the gripping slipperiness, like nice slidey, good long slides on regular downhill board, but then you put them on a double kick, they're a little bit grippy. I also don't ride a double kick, so you know, take that as you will. But I know that normally people want quite slidey wheels for the double kicks, and these were just a little bit grippy on that. Price is also something I don't typically talk about with wheels, but I figure it's kind of relevant with these ones. They're 65 millimeters are only $53, and the 70 millimeters are only $58. So it's actually one of the cheaper wheels on the market in this kind of lane. Again, it's not something I typically talk about in reviews because I prefer to just talk about the wheel, but that's kind of a big part of their marketing, was advertising like a cheap, durable wheel that's gonna like just last you a long time. I think that's kind of where the name comes from. It's like bangers. It's meant to sort of be like a lot of bang for your buck type thing. So it is relevant with these wheels if you are someone who's, you know, younger or newer to skating and you don't want to be buying wheels every couple of weeks. That's an option for they're gonna last. You know, a new skater could do a whole season on a set of these wheels, I think. If you're just someone who doesn't have a lot of spare cash but you love skating and you need wheels that are gonna last you, you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck with these. Or if you're just someone who's cheap and doesn't like spending money, full stop, again, same reason, these will last you a long time for what you pay for them, which isn't that much. I guess recommendations, who am I gonna recommend these to? slidey people, everyone that like rides snakes, all the snake kids, you're gonna like bangers. They're very similar, but they have their own sort of take. Yeah, if you like slippery, slidey, smooth feeling wheels that you can just do really big slides on, you're gonna love these. These lean a little bit more into the, like I said, the scratchy, controllable feeling. So if you like snakes but you find them too slidey, this might be an option for that too. I already mentioned it. If you're on a budget, you're looking for a cheap wheel that's going to last you a long time, the Banger is definitely a good option. And I think one of the most important things with reviews is saying, is it good for beginners? Because I feel like beginners are the people who watch reviews the most. And yes, this is an awesome wheel for a beginner. You know, everyone kind of says if you're just getting into skating, if you're learning to slide, you want something that's slippery because it's going to be easier for you to break out the slide and do it. These are an excellent option. The durability is insane, so you can, you know, you're going to be more forgiving for if you're doing pendies or 90 blasting. They're going to be less likely to flat spot, so they'll last you longer in that regard too. But they also have a little bit more feedback, which I think is good for learning, because you can start to get a bit more of a feel for the slide while still having that easy release and easy, you know, breakout for slides. So yeah, highly recommend for beginners, anyone that likes slidey wheels, anyone that's looking for a cheap wheel. These are going to be great for you. I guess more on a personal side note of my opinion of them, I really thoroughly enjoyed them. If you've been watching my videos, you know I don't typically ride slidey wheels, but I did have a lot of fun on the Primos. It is starting to warm up now, so the last time I skated these, it was like, ooh, these are getting pretty slippery. And so I am looking forward to, as we get into the warmer months now, putting on some grippy wheels and dropping some fat thang lines. But I did thoroughly enjoy them, and I was able to, you know, just adjust my form a little bit to ride the slidier wheel. And like I said, that sort of more scratchy feedback kind of feeling helped a lot with me control them as someone who typically doesn't ride slidey wheels. So they were really enjoyable. I thought they were great. So yeah, I enjoyed them. I think you'll enjoy them too. Thanks again to Liam for sending the wheels out. It's pretty cool to get sent some wheels to review. So yeah, thanks again for that. And yeah, thanks for watching.